Hey, how y'all doing? This is BrightAsGraphite, and it's been a long while since I uploaded, but uh, the next video I do will be in OBS because I know that in this video editor it doesn't look very good, but the next one will definitely be in OBS. So I'm building a house for my legacy family, which I am currently paused and waiting for the infant update. I wanted something big enough to fit, multiple generations and all that. So that's what I've been doing here. The roofs were mostly pretty easy, except for the fact that I had a reference picture where the main roof on the topmost part had a hipped roof on it that the gable roofs would connect into and kind of mesh into, but they don't really quite do that in The Sims 4, at least not very well. But I did try my best, and it looked okay. It didn't really look exactly like the picture, but it looked the best that I could do it. I was trying to go for a more warm-toned house. I didn't want to go like full orange. I was trying to go something other than white. And I didn't think a cool color like blues or anything would look really good with it, just because of the general shape of the house, and I wanted some brick or rock or something to give it some sort of contrast up by the garage. Even though I know that the garage is not functional, I still wanted to include it because you can use it for like a skill room, but chest tables or whatever in it, or use it as storage if you don't want to put it in the family storage so you don't forget you have it. I love those Parenthood windows. Those and the Strangerville windows are two of my favorite ones in the entire game because they look like actual windows that an actual house would have. Some of the ones, I guess they kind of look normal, like the Seasons ones kind of look like some for craftsman homes and all that. And I was trying to figure out how to put a bedroom in the downstairs area because I wanted one bedroom downstairs and a few upstairs. But I think it turned out fine. It's a little awkward. I probably should have just left it to upstairs bedrooms. But I thought that maybe if I have multiple generations, then the older generation would be in the downstairs one because, older people it's not really good for them to be climbing stairs. I had realized that I made the house way too wide, and I thought I did at first when I was looking at it from the outside, but I didn't really think too much into it, so I left it the same until I started doing that and realized that the landing was way too big. And it's an awkward shape up there, but it gets the job done, and the landing is still fairly big. I'm not really good with doing the upstairs after I put the stairs in, but it does come together fairly cohesively. I actually may play The Sims on Twitch. I try to stream Fridays and Saturdays, but I also mostly play Dead by Daylight on there. I'll have the link to my Twitch in the description, but I'm doing the garage, driveway thing. I'm not the best at landscaping, but I did try to add some little shrubs and flowers around the driveway area so that it's I don't know. I'm not the best at it. I either put way too much landscaping or not enough, so it either looks like it's completely overgrown or completely barren. So I was working on that to try and give it some sort of shape to it. I did not put any trees on this lot though, which I probably should have, but I couldn't really see a spot where it would make sense to put one. And I did remember a mailbox this time. I tend to forget to set them down in the right spot, and then you load into the game and it spawns in the living room. So, that's fine. I always use these woods. I wanted some of the bedrooms to be carpet, but most of the rooms are hardwood. I almost always use those woods. And I did try to use this blue wallpaper for the main parts of the house, and then I realized it didn't really fit with the style of the house. It was more kind of neutral toned, and having a bright color on the inside except for the nursery didn't really make a whole lot of sense. But I did leave one room colored, and that was the downstairs bedroom. So it's, for the most part, that Parenthood basewood or baseboard type of thing. And in this one teen bedroom, I actually, when I put that wardrobe in, I had that awkward spot that I didn't want to just like leave there, so it's a desk nook or going to be. And with doing this kitchen, I actually did not know where to put it at first. So I thought I'd put it at the back of the house, since that makes most sense. Most kitchens are at the back of the house. But the way that the house was shaped, the kitchen was way too big compared to the living room. So you had a gigantic kitchen and a teeny tiny living room, where instead of a galley kitchen, it's a galley living room. And so I was trying to do like a breakfast nook and all that, and I realized after putting in the dining table that there would not be much room for the living room. I did put a high chair. Don't really plan on having more than one toddler at a time. I tried to put those two tables together to make like one bigger table, and I was trying to also have enough seating space for the, yeah, this is where I decided that area was way too small to fit enough seats for a legacy house. So I moved the kitchen back to the side of the entryway. It's a little awkward because it's kind of at the front, but it's not like the entry point. It's not the front part of the house. So it kind of goes okay. I'm still trying to figure out this dining situation because there's not a whole lot of room, because I did not really plan out the floor plan that well. I thought it was fine when I first did it, but by this point, when I realized that there wasn't enough dining space, it was a bit too late, and I didn't want to have to go and delete the bedroom and not have enough room for my other Sims. And when I was putting in the living room, I knew that I wanted the TV at least up against the wall, but to have the couch and the TV against the wall would look a bit awkward just because of the fact that it was so wide. Like, just the idea of having to look all the way across the room at the TV, which in a normal living room wouldn't be too bad, but this one was just wide enough where it was a bit awkward. So I did end up moving the couch up a good bit, and in that awkward nook behind, I was trying to fit some like toys and stuff. I was going to put a dollhouse, but it didn't really fit all that well. So the Parenthood clutter toy box looked better, so I did that with, other little toys there so that they could actually play back there. And I was trying to find couches with matching swatches to love seats, which there is not a lot of except for like the two base game ones. And so I ended up going for black couches, which makes sense with the white going on in the in that area. This laundry room is like really small. It's also supposed to be like a mud room for when you get in from the driveway. I was trying to just use the Sims 3 camera to try and see that wall better, but it ended up just getting in the way, so for the moment I deleted it just long enough to put up shelving over top of the washer and dryer. It does not have a sink in there, but it does have a counter. I did do 3 full baths instead of, 1 half bath room, just because I feel like for your Sims it'd be much easier to have full bathrooms especially if you have a lot of Sims, you would want them to all be able to, go to the bathroom, because sometimes, for some reason, the Sims all have to go to the bathroom at the same exact time. So if you have more than 2 Sims in a house, it can get a bit overwhelming with them all clumped in on top of each other trying to go to the bathroom. I know the garages aren't necessarily the most functional because we don't have cars that work, so there's no point in it. But I did put 2 of the debug cars that look more like minivans just because, big house and stuff. I usually use the garages for skill rooms, like for woodworking or arts. I also use it sometimes to hold the season stuff, like the decoration box. And I did not put a Christmas tree in here, but that's usually where I put the Christmas trees, is when I make a garage, so that they all, like, stay in one place. Because if I put it in my household inventory, I will forget that it exists. So I kind of just move it. And I moved on to the entryway, and I was trying to figure out how exactly I wanted these things, because the swatches of wood were sort of similar. And I do not have the tool mod itself. I don't have any mods. But I did do a trick where you use the Dream Home Decorator in the high school years cubes to kind of use that as the tool mod. And, evened everything up where it would line up with the bottom shelf. That entryway ended up way too big, but it is fine, I guess. I added some clutter shelves to make it seem a bit smaller, like places where, they would set their bills and their keys and all that stuff. I didn't really have another thing to do that with, so I just put the jars from cottage living. I'm trying to work in the backyard, and I'm not really the best at backyards. They always end up kind of empty looking. But I was trying to find a debug fence, because to put it all the way on the edge of the lot, you can't do that with a regular fence. And I found this one from Pets that I thought the shape looked fine, but I ended up not liking it, and you could see the, metal bolts. So I ended up scrapping that entirely. Finding good fences in debug is hard, which it wouldn't be so much of a problem if we could actually put fences on the edge of the lot. I get not walls, but we can't even put fences. I ended up using the Strangerville debug fence, which I really like. I don't know why we don't have a fence like this. The closest one we have to this is the one from the Toddler Stuff pack that's really short and very, thick and plasticky, which I was surprised we didn't just get that fence with Strangerville, but, I was trying to put some activities outside. I put a little red bike. I couldn't really put it in the front yard, so I kind of put it close to the garage. And usually when I do outside areas, it looks the same. I have, the swings, monkey bars, that kind of thing. I did put some gardening plots just because of the fact that I know that, a lot of the Sims, they make more money from gardening. So you can have one, Sim take care of the garden, and it's instant money. Snapdragons, I think, are the ones that make the most money out of all of the plants, at least that I remember. I did want, at least one master bathroom. I don't know why I didn't put one downstairs, but I did. So I was going to put a computer in this little desk nook, but then I realized that this was going to be a teenager's room, so I just kind of got rid of that. I do end up putting a family computer off camera after I'd already moved my legacy family in, so you'll see it in the screenshots. And for the teen boys room, I wanted I made all of the rooms kind of the same plain colors of like blues and greens, but I did want to emphasize that kind of wood color that's on that bunk bed just because I like it, but I don't think that there was a whole lot that matched it other than the Dream Home Decorator stuff. I tried to make that landing a little less awkward by putting some toys there. That's the only thing I can really think of, and that's the only place I can think to put some of the bigger toys because there's just nowhere to put them. I do like those mint colored beds, but there's like no rugs that go with them. So I kind of used that candy rug from high school years. And I moved on to the nursery area, and it's kind of awkward doing a nursery when there's no cribs or anything. But I am planning on putting it there, so I made kind of a fake changing table and put the bassinet in there. But there's, no crib. I also did not put like a bookshelf in there or anything. I was gonna put some curtains up, but none of them looked nice. And then if you think about it, in a nursery, if you have like actual dangling curtains, they're kind of dangerous for babies. So I just kind of got rid of that. There was no point in it, but I did put blinds. This room I think is the most decorated, just because of the fact of probably that I'm excited for the baby update or infant update. And I'm finishing up before I move on to the master bedroom with putting the light switches, which I'm surprised you have to shift click. I thought it would be kind of like the lights where they, spawn automatically after each click, but they do not, so you have to shift click them. I kept this room is the darkest room. It's got more dark blues and blacks and purples. So this is the only room that doesn't really have like a green or blue scheme going for it.